It looks like the BBC have a lot of grovelling to do to the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. However, this is not going away, and more importantly, could cost the British taxpayer millions of pounds. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good to see you, chums. Thank you so much for your time. Nice to have your company. You know, when you think about this, the stupidity of the BBC, I've often told you this, having worked for these big corporations, they're just not very bright. You know, recently, you may know in America, CBS had to pay the president millions of dollars, as did ABC. And yet the people, the perpetrators of these ridiculous, outlandish stories and non-truths and all this sort of stuff, get to keep their jobs, because consequently they can't be shown to be that dim, right? And this is the problem that we've got over here with the BBC. The Director General, Tim Davie, is clearly useless in this particular position and can't really control any members of the staff. I mean, as I mentioned a couple of days ago, the 200 grand might not seem a lot of money that they gave to the disgraced presenter that they all knew about for many years inside the BBC. Well, they couldn't get that money back. They didn't even make an attempt. It was all puff nonsense out in the public domain, but they did not do anything. I've told you before, the workings, the sort of machinations of the BBC are fascinating. I know exactly how they work because I've got people at work there. And, you know, they don't have to turn up every day for work. They can work from home. Many of them are going to the gym in your time, or they're cooking, or they're learning a new language. But as long as they do 2 or 3 hours and log into a few Zoom meetings, that's acceptable, because this is the fat cat BBC that you're paying for. This time around, though, this is going to get really tricky, because if you remember the disgraceful behaviour of the, then I think he was the religious editor, Martin Bashir, regarding the late and beautiful Diana, Princess of Wales, he's never been held to account. He's never given any of the money back. They let you walk away because they don't want to have that fight in the public domain. They've picked the wrong goose, of course, with the President of the United States. And this is why President Trump is very popular over here in the United Kingdom. We like him because he called out the fact that we have the worst mayor in the world in Sadiq Khan, right? That's the bigger problem. And also what we like about Trump is the fact that he just says it. Whether you agree with him or not, there's a lot in there that people do connect to. Now it's been proven, of course, that the BBC, I mean, incredible to think that they edited this piece of footage and thought it would go out there and nobody would absolutely find it. And in the end, their own programme were tasked, Panorama, to exposing their incompetence. 2 points to note here that nobody's picked up on. This has been going on for a long time, this investigation, right? Nobody has been fired. Nobody has been given a written warning. Nobody has been suspended, right? So they're all on full pay. The people that did this still are working inside that organisation. On the very day that they decided to reveal this themselves on their own channel, well, guess what? They also decided to put out this particular ad telling you that the BBC News and its associated brands is the most trusted news provider in the United Kingdom, if not the world. So where does it go with this with President Trump? Well, as you can see over in The View with Whoopi Goldberg and the fake legal letter and note from the producer that she was handed, that's all fake. That's all a setup just to get publicity. This is reality. President Trump extracted millions from ABC Disney, millions from CBS, all given to charity. People forget that about the president. He gave it to charity. Now, where this is interesting is, behind the scenes, they are now waiting to hear if President Trump will be taking legal action. Now, the only reason I believe that this might be simmered down is the fact that he has such a nice allegiance to the British people. He knows that it's not our fault, right? And the other side of it is he likes the royal family. And the BBC are banking on this, that Trump will keep to that sort of rhetoric and not go in too hard. Right now, people are preparing behind the doors of the famous BBC building to see if they need to go over and apologise in person to the president in the White House. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'd been, sort of badly treated like that on the world stage with some minion cutting up my speech to make me look bad. I'd ask you this of all of our chums here on our wonderful channel. What would you do? And would you blame him for now trying to sue the BBC, and which of course he would undoubtedly win? I'd love to know your thoughts as ever. And if you can, please be polite, kind and share. Neil Sean, Kensington, London.